Yes. This may not be known to people outside of our graded bubble here, the little community we have, but yes, you absolutely can get graded now. Your used games, your CIB games, you can send those both to PSA, CGC, and you can get them graded. You can even get cartridges only graded for some systems like NES and Super Nintendo. Truly, you can almost grade any video game at this point. CIB collecting has become very serious at this point, with people chasing the absolute top grades, the nicest boxes, cartridges, manuals. People are prepping them, working them, pressing them. People are doing whatever they can now to get the highest grades possible on their CIB video games. It's serious stuff out there. I got a couple of CIB games graded with PSA recently myself, and they got some pretty good scores. Punch-Out received a 9.2, and Zelda also received a 9.2, but they are not built the exact same way, which might be confusing for people maybe coming into this new. The overall grade you get, that 9.2, is based on the score of the box, manual, and cartridge. Both CGC and PSA then use a formula to calculate the overall grade. But even then, what does 9.2 mean? What is a 9.0 box? What is a 9.4 manual? Is your stuff nice enough to send in for grading? And that's what I want to help you guys with today. I want to show off these examples in very, very high detail, because I took a ton of video of both of these games before I sent them in for grading. So we're going to review all of that. We're going to talk about where I was wrong, where I think they might have been too harsh, not harsh enough. What should you try to grade for CIB? Why did these boxes both score higher than I actually thought they would? And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better idea of what you should personally, maybe send in to get graded from your own collection. So say thank you to every single patron who helps support the channel, as well as the YouTube members. I can't do this without you guys. Hit the like button. And let's start off by looking at the boxes themselves, because both Zelda and Punch-Out scored 9.0, and I had them both rated as an 8.5. So here's the Zelda box, and just as a reminder, I projected 8.5 grade on it, and what it actually received is a 9. So the first spot of wear, obviously, the corner is going to be the one that stands out. There's a little bit of damage all along the opening hinge. It's not severe or anything. Another little corner ding right there on the left-hand side. The hinge wear isn't super serious, but this corner is kind of severe. That is, I believe that's the worst spot on the entire box there, but yeah, that's considerable. Along the front edge here, again, you're going to get minor wear almost no matter what. It's just a super common spot for it. The sides are fine. The bottom of the box, yes, it is still all wrapped in the original cello as well. The cellophane keeps it clean over the years. It's generally a really good sign. No actual creasing and stuff on the sides. Of course, right, it is still super nice overall. I'll show you the other side here as well. If you have big creases going down the side of your box, if you have even just light creases that go down the length of the box, I mean, there's really no value to get it graded. Yes, first print Zelda, that's why I sent it off. TM there in the corner, no Rev A. This is another sneaky spot here where there's going to be damage on almost every box, is your little opening flap here. Yes, they take this into consideration. You can see there's a bit of whitening there. There's no actual crease from being opened, which is big, right? When you open a box, usually they're all going to get creased because you dig your thumb right in there. So this box was not worked in any way. This box was not prepped in any way. These little dog ears, they always get damaged as well. They get ripped, but you can see even right there, right? I think this is why I thought it was an 8.5, is there's actually a little bit of separation. There's actually a little bit of rip there on that left-hand side one. Overall, though, it is quite nice. It is a nice box. 8.5, 9.0. I don't disagree with either grade. Maybe if you sent it back enough times, it would even get the different grade, right? And now here's the box from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which doesn't have the wrap on it, so there's going to actually be more scuffs and just like little scuffs and wear to the box itself, where the plastic on Zelda protects it against some of that scuffing damage. Again, at the top here, the back hinge, and at the corner, there's a little bit of damage there on the Mike Tyson. Back hinge shows the wear a lot more than the Zelda box too, because it's all black. These all black boxes show everything, so it makes them very hard to get in any kind of nice condition. The back corner here, I think this is the worst spot on the Tyson if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's all kind of, it's like the paint loss there is kind of bad. Going up the edge as well, there's paint loss on the side. Corner, not that nice on the Tyson. Right-hand corner also has some damage. Man, this one might be more 8.5 than the Zelda, honestly. See, you can see all the scratches and scuffing as it goes down the back of the box. This one, I think, is actually more 8.5 than the Zelda, now that we review them both back to back. Still, no major creases, no major bends, right? Like, it has surface wear, but the actual structure of the box is dang near perfect. Again, up there, you always want to check. That's where there's going to be wear that's not seen. But yeah, this area here, this back left bottom corner is really the worst spot on the box. Now, whether or not that's enough to get it down to an 8.5 in itself, I'm not sure, but there's also other damage on the box. Make no mistake. I think if this one was 8.5 and Zelda was 9.0, I'd probably agree with it more. But again, it could be right on the edge. It could be right on the line. Sometimes it's a 9, sometimes it's an 8.5. But yeah, even at 9.0, you can have a decent amount of wear to the box. That's why I say in general, you don't want to submit something that's going to get an 8 or a 7.5 even, because yeah, once you start getting into an 8.0, a 7.5, the box is going to have creases, it's going to have dings, it's going to have very obvious damage. Let's go to the cartridges now, because both cartridges received a 9.6 grade, which is like that is top tier. A little bit of dust there on the Tyson, nothing to worry about. I mean, there's not going to be much for me to say. You can see in the light reflection here that, like, there aren't even little superficial scratches, scuffs. Like, there's essentially nothing wrong with a cartridge once you start getting up to 9.6 and especially 9.8. Pure white down there, looks like it's it looks like it's never been inserted into a console. I assume there's going to be a little bit of scratching or something on the back side here as to why it didn't get the 9.8. I actually projected a 9.8 on this cartridge. I'm still looking for why it's not a 9.8. Maybe some scratching on the side there, super little scratches. That's why I said this was a 9.8, right? And it still got a 9.6. So if you're looking at your cartridge and you can see obvious scuffs, scratches in the light, if you can see anything, like, this is what a 9.6 looks like on the Mike Tyson. It is freaking beautiful. So the Zelda cartridge as well here, graded 9.6. And I think in the gold reflection here of the cartridge, like, it's almost impossible to find this thing 9.8. I think on the left-hand side there, yeah, you can see a little bit of scratching on the gold foil right there. Is that? Oh, it's just hair. It was just hair. You can still see a little bit, though, on the left-hand side there within the grooves. You can just see the littlest, most superficial scratches. Again, the label here is going to be perfect. Dang near perfect, even when reflected in the light. There's just nothing I can really obviously point out to you guys. On the side here, a little bit of fingerprints we're getting on there, but the finish on the Zelda carts isn't going to be perfect just naturally. You know, if it's ever been touched, oils, whatever it is, you can see on the top here as well, there's just like little specks, I don't even want to call it damage or wear, it's just a natural finish of these cartridges is almost impossible to have it without any kind of scratching, anything whatsoever. Another piece of hair there on the back. That might actually be, yeah, that's actually a scratch right there. So there we go. That is your 9.6 scratch on the Zelda. Looking at it again here, man, I gotta say, like, that Tyson cart was nicer, right? Unless I'm missing something on that Tyson cart. Like, okay, I see why the Zelda's a 9.6. It has a little bit of a scratch there on the back. It has a little bit of scratching in a few spots. But, like, that Mike Tyson, man, I don't know. That Tyson should have been a 9.8. But you can see with the cartridges here, and maybe I'll show you guys what an uglier cartridge looks like here. But you can see with the cartridges here, how I'm slowly going over it in the light, how I'm looking at all sides of it, the back label, front label, everything, right? You are examining this with a fine-tooth comb to find literally anything once we start getting into the 9.6, 9.8 grades. If you just want a 9.0, 9.2, again, an 8.5 cartridge, yeah, you're going to have some obvious wear to it, right? That's going to be something that has obvious signs of use. That's why I really stress that the 9.0 for most cardboard-based video games, like most stuff you submit, you should at least be trying for a 9.0, because as you go below that, the amount of damage you have on them becomes way more general. On eBay, there's going to be a lot of stuff sitting there that's like 8.0 grade. It's not that hard to get. And let's finish off with the manuals. Both the Mike Tyson's manual and the Zelda manual were pressed. So they had heat taken to them, you know, pressed down, smooth finish, all that good stuff. These were prepped before grading. And yes, I absolutely recommend that you press your manuals before you grade anything. You'll see even here a dog-eared corner there. Pressing cannot remove actual paint cracks, actual paint breaks. You can see superficial scratching here on the manual, a little bit of bend there by the staples. This is another spot where you're going to get damage that can't be fixed by pressing. Of course, inside you got to check for writing. A lot of manuals on NES, Super Nintendo are going to have notes, memos, all that stuff. So this was a 9.2. Did I say? 9.2. It also has that little, you can see the scuff scratch going down the front through the letter P there. So it's not mint, right? This is a 9.2 manual. It is not mint. Absolutely not mint. It's nice. It's very nice, but it's not mint. And the Zelda manual here is actually a 9.4. So this one did grade higher than the Mike Tyson. It was also pressed. You can see there's basically no bends, crinkles, nothing to it, right? It's nice, flat, looks good. There's still a little bit of wear you can see in the light. Yeah, a little bit of a bend there. Almost a bit of a waviness to it. And I don't know if that's a side effect of having it been... Like, it was pressed a year and some ago, maybe even 2 years ago, right? So I don't know if pressing eventually wears off. If it leaves, like, you can just see it, right? You can see it in the light. It's a little bit wavy. But there's no actual bends, damage. Superficial scratching is really all it has. Around the staple here as well, you can tell it's much cleaner than the Mike Tyson was. Again, with Punch-Out though, right? It's a black manual, so it shows damage so easy. Because even this Zelda manual has superficial scratching, scuffing to it, but you can't really see it in the light nearly as well as you can on the Mike Tyson. So even for me reviewing that footage again and looking at the actual grades I got on the game, I am a little bit surprised. The first takeaway is that if you want something that truly is near mint or mint, if you want to use those words to describe something, you basically need 9.6 or better. And finding 9.6 or better, like actual mint, is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult on CIB games. But if you want mint, that's basically what you have to have. Looking at that Mike Tyson's manual 9.2 again, like, yeah, sure, it's a nice manual, right? But it's not even... I had estimated a 9 on it, and I estimated a 9.2 on that Zelda. In my opinion, those are probably what they should be for grades. Like, if I did the scale, I would be a harsher grader. But it seems like with all of my estimates, my 8.5s were 9s, my 9.0 was a 9.2, my 9.2, everything is being graded a little bit softer than I otherwise would do it myself. Now, that's not a shot at PSA, that's not anything. It's just my own perceptions versus what is reality, right? That's what you have to do with this stuff. You learn how the grading company does it, and then you adjust your own expectations. But I do want to hear from some of you guys who grade CIB way more than I do. Is all of this stuff, does it look like it's within what you would expect? Does it look like normal 9s, normal 9.2s? Is this the scale that you also expect from stuff? Because I grade sealed stuff way more than I grade CIB. And there are some slight differences, there are some slight nuances as to how sealed is assessed versus how CIB is assessed. So let me know, you guys, if you've graded CIB before. Let me know down in the comments, how does all this stuff look? If you've never graded a used video game before, definitely let me know what you think. Give me your own thoughts and opinions about all of this. If you want some opinions, if you want to share pictures, if you want to ask someone, oh, should I get this graded? I do have a free Discord you can join, link in the description, all that good stuff. Subscribe for more graded content. There's a lot more coming. Hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.